The STEM Society.
What's poppin', people? My name is Cole Jackson. This is the STEM Society. Welcome back. I wanted to dive into this conversation the internet is having about Jay-Z showing up on platforms. There's a clip that's floating around from this recent interview with Memphis Bleek, post Jay-Z 3-day celebration, where he speaks about Jay showing up on these different platforms and why he doesn't do it. Now, this was a recent interview with DJ Self on Power 105, and he has some interesting talking points about why Jay don't show up to platforms to speak.
And the whole internet done turned into his blame Rock Nation is Jay-Z fault shit. So
it definitely, a lot of people be bringing that thing. You want to know what I feel like it is?
What?
Because he doesn't talk to nobody. But I'm not blaming Ho for nothing.
I don't want him to. If he did, they'll just make up more shit. I'm glad he don't talk to none of these niggas, man. They don't deserve to hear nothing from the God. Like, in my words, fuck these niggas, man.
Shit.
That's why I'm out here.
Shit.
And when you say that, in what regard, like? They don't. No, not that. Why, when you say they don't deserve to hear from the God,
they don't deserve, man. Y'all all here making up stories and making up your own analogies.
Wouldn't that be better that you
explanation for?
Because you are a major figure.
Nah, nigga, we ain't no major figure. He is the figure.
Okay, so that's just like if I'm a president.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell me when they come up here and chop it up with y'all. They're not
a part of our culture.
But listen, do they give y'all niggas the inside of the new car dropping?
Yes.
So when I watched that clip, I was like, so basically, Bleek is saying that if Jay shows up to a platform to have a conversation, no matter what he says, we're going to spin it into the worst way. And he also said the internet is turning their back on Rock Nation or it's all Rock Nation's fault. And I completely understand him being the best friend and mouthpiece for him. I kind of get it. Now, later on in the interview, he actually said that if we ain't watching the documentaries or listening to the music, he gave us the game. We should know you should be out here trying to get money. Where I say a lot of the music is subjective. A lot of the stuff that we hear from Jay, or what we used to hear from Jay, was drug dealer stuff until probably here recently, probably up until Blueprint 3 time, where he started flipping it over and started getting into his grown man business stuff. And I get it. But if you're supposed to be the representative of the culture, right? If you're supposed to be a person that we're supposed to be looking at as like, all right, when I see him, I see black excellence, I see a black billionaire, I see somebody who made it from the gutter. What's wrong with sitting down with some of the platforms that's from the culture? Now, I get it. He sat down with GQ, and Memphis Bleek had a rebuttal about sitting down with GQ. This is what he said about Jay accepting an interview with GQ.
I don't want to shoot at this kid, but he was newer in the media space from how the culture normally identifies. It was like, who's this kid? Everybody went at him. So when Hov sat with him, he was like, how did this kid earn to sit down with Hov? And then it felt like Hov sat with someone that wasn't as seasoned and kind of bullied the convo. That's how people looked at it on the outside. I'd love to.
Was it about, did he do the interview for GQ or Frazier?
For GQ.
Okay, so did Frazier create GQ?
No.
Or do he work for them?
Employee.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good spin. That's a good spin. It's a spin, but that's a good spin.
All right, man. Dougie Fresh told me.
That's a good spin. Because he still has the choice of who he, all right, I'll do it. Big magazines do it all the time.
It's about GQ, man. Niggas was talking about podcast versus GQ magazine, man. And you want him to talk to these people? They don't need talking to, man. They need to read a fucking book.
Agree with that. Now that's
they
a
don't
fact.
need to fucking be talked to. That a person could look at a brand like GQ and compare it to a podcast. Come on.
Nah,
You're talking about with the actual dialogue?
You're just talking about access to media at that point.
I don't subscribe to GQ magazine, and I don't know anybody who is a black male in America that consistently subscribes to GQ magazine. And if you know the numbers, because I don't know the numbers, let me know. When I seen that Jay sat down with GQ, I was like, why didn't he sit down with The Breakfast Club, which he adamantly argued that that's not a podcast, even though if you go to the Black Effect podcast page, and if you check iHeartMedia, it's listed as a podcast also. Just throwing it out there to Bleek. But the fact that we don't respect the media personalities out here who could sit down with Jay and it be respectable is the problem. See, I'm looking at Bleek saying what he said because he don't respect podcasting, or he's looking at it from a standpoint of everybody is, no disrespect, academics. Everybody's messy. Everybody's sitting up here spinning the narrative, which that's not necessarily true. Charlamagne the guy is in the Radio Hall of Fame. It would take nothing for Jay to make a phone call and say, let's have a sit down and do this. Let me get my things out here. Let me tell people what my point of view is when it comes to Target, or when it comes to all of these narratives that you guys speak about me being a capitalist, or how I don't care about people who are protesting and things of that nature. Let me just tell people how I feel. And I say that because it was nothing for him to sit down with Frazier at GQ to do that. He spoke on a lot of things that were culturally relevant. The only thing that people keep saying is he bullied the conversation. Newsflash, guys, Frazier's been in media for, if I'm not mistaken, 10 years, 8 to 10 years. You can double check me on that. But he wasn't just some kid. He actually has the credentials to sit down with Jay-Z. He might have not been the person that you wanted, but he was the person who was available and who GQ wanted to put out there. I looked at it from a standpoint of they just rolled out the black dude and said, here you go, sit down with Jay-Z. And he was like, all right, cool. Frazier was informed. Frazier sat down and had more of a conversation piece instead of asking hard-hitting questions. But it was something that was there, and it was something that they did. The fact that Bleek looks at this is just, oh, this is just some nigga shit, is ridiculous. Because there's other people in the space that he could sit down with. Nadeska's been holding very wonderful interviews with a lot of big-time people. I think she would be great. She's a journalist. She knows how to handle these situations. I would go with Rob Markman. Rob Markman has been very consistent with his interviews. I think it would be great for him to sit down with somebody like Rob. I even will go with Elsie, who has been doing a lot of interviews with younger acts, who sat down with Punch and other people. I know Jay-Z is like this god or this king that we consistently want to praise. But if he wants to be the person who is the visual of what the culture is, then why not sit down with people from the culture? It just makes sense to me to do that, which leads to a bigger problem that we're having with artists and interviews and black media or hip hop media or culturally relevant media. Niggas don't like to sit with us. They don't. They don't want to sit with anybody who has anything to do with podcasting or anybody who has a platform that's halfway doing anything. Now, I don't know whose fault that is. I don't know if it's the podcaster's fault, because you have people like Joe Budden who says, well, we don't need interviews. We can thrive off of our conversation alone. Or if it's people like academics who have a platform that usually becomes very messy. Or when we let people like Adam 22 into the space where he just looks like the fucking Jerry Springer of hip hop. I don't know what it is to make everything in the media space look bad. You get what I'm saying? But I do feel like as one of the 14 black billionaires who rap in the US of A, you should sit down with somebody who we can relate to. Everybody talks bad about that GQ interview because nobody knew who Frazier was or is. They didn't know his history. They just felt like he was a kid who got lucky and he was just like tripped and fell into a Jay-Z interview. And for the most part, let's be completely honest. Who gives a fuck about GQ magazine if you black? Real shit. So for him to sit up here and say, these niggas need to read books, these niggas need to do this. There's several people who have platforms that is seasoned that will sit down and ask the tough questions. See, that's where I have an issue too. Is it because you're not willing to answer hard questions? Or it might be a situation, and I might be jumping off of a cliff here when I say this, but maybe Jay-Z wants to consistently control the narrative. Sounds very much like what Drake would do. All I'm saying is a lot of the people who we feel like are cultural icons in the space, or the people who are still active out here, or the people who are still doing this kind of shit, should at least say, I know that this person will give me a respectable interview. I should be able to sit with them and be able to give all kinds of context on why I did what I did, why Target is a place where I decided to do business with or do a deal with, so on and so forth. Does he owe it to us? No, he's a billionaire. He can do whatever the fuck he wants to do. But does it make his plight of being the person who is of the culture or who got it out the mud, does that make it a lot more relatable to me or to other people who follow him, buy his music, watch his documentaries, so on and so forth? Does that say, hey, okay, I can relate a whole lot more because he sat down with Charlamagne, Rob Markman, Elliott Wilson, B-Dot, Nadeska. The list can go on, LC. Or find a creative out there that has an up-and-coming platform that's not messy. It's a lot of different angles you could take with this. I just didn't like the fact that Bleek wanted to get out here and bark on people when you're in the same space as everybody else. You podcast too. The game is the game. I'm going to end the conversation on this. For me, I always want to see the people who are up. Jay, Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole, the big time guys or the big time people who are active still in the genre. I want to see them with faces that I recognize, and I want to see them on platforms that I enjoy. I don't want to see a Harper's Bazaar interview. I don't want to see you sit down with GQ or Rolling Stone or all of these other platforms that you feel like are better than what we have. There's other platforms out here that I feel like a lot of y'all can sit down with. I understand the mysterious artist thing and how cool that is, and I don't want to know about your personal life. I really do want to know where you came up with that freestyle. the Roots Picnic freestyle. What made you do that? Where did that come from? Did you feel attacked? There's shit out here that we want to know, and I don't give a fuck about GQ getting it. Sit with us. Sit with the people who really fuck with your music. Sit with the people who really understand or care about your story. That's all I'm saying. GQ is a huge platform, but we're the people who help get you to that point. That's all I'm saying. They always tell you, don't forget where you come from. A lot of the artists that don't sit down with our platforms forget where they come from. How do you see it? What do you feel? Do you think Jay-Z owes us the right to sit down with a platform that's from the culture? Or do you think it's okay for him to just go do interviews with GQ and other places and not care at all? Let me know down in the comments. Let's talk about this list Billboard just dropped. Billboard just gave us the top 10 hottest female rappers right now. Let's look at this list, shall we? Number 10, Megan Thee Stallion. Number 9, Molly Santana. Number 8, YK Nice. Number 7, Trim. Number 6, Lotto. Let's stop right there. So as I look at this list and the bottom 5, let me just say this. 1, this is more about how hot and viral you are and not necessarily about the skills part of things. So I kind of understand just a tad bit. Can I be honest with y'all, and can we have a real adult conversation about Trim? Let's talk about Trim for a second. Now, for those who have seen my freshman class video, you know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to repeat myself because I think it needs to be said. Trim is a person who is living off of somebody else's gimmick. The mannerisms, the style of rap, even down to the hair and the way she dressed is nothing but a Nicki Minaj cosplay. And we're okay with that. Why? I don't know. I don't understand why we're not calling this out. Now, I know Coconut Water is one of those viral hits and it's everywhere and people are going crazy over it, but can y'all give me a few bars off of that song? Me neither. I think the Nicki Minaj aesthetic and the voice that she uses, which is more apparent or more towards the Roman side of things, what Nicki used to do, it's got us mesmerized because it's so close to what Nicki used to do that we're just like, oh, wow. But there's not enough people calling this shit out. And you can say what you want to. She's inspired by Nicki. You can say that, hey, she's just finding herself or finding her way in hip hop. But I know what a nigga is stealing, and that's straight up stealing. She is stealing Nicki Minaj's gimmick. I know that we're not dealing with Nicki Minaj the same way as we used to in hip hop because she's MAGA now. But we have to respect what Nicki gave to the game. I wish Trim would do that as well instead of saying, you 40-year-old rappers need to get out of here. Y'all washed. Get out the way. I'm the new princess of rap. She says a lot of different things, and she is boastful about it. But if I'm being honest, if I was YK Nice, Molly Santana, and Meg Thee Stallion, I would kind of be like, y'all are tripping. There's no way that Trim is that much better than them. But again, the wording says hottest and not best. So the wording matters. The wording helps them get away with making a list like this. I just have a problem with her being number 7 over 3 people who I know are better than her. That's all. Lotto at number 6 makes a lot of sense because that album wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be. But she did drop it. She got a few numbers off of it. It is what it is. I just have a problem with Trim being at number 7, and I have a problem with people giving her way more credit about her aesthetic and who she is without having the pen game because she's not rapping like Nicki at all. She just got everything else. That's how I see it. Let's move into the top 5. Number 5, Doechii. Number 4, Monaleo. Number 3, Sexy Red. Number 2, Young Miami. And number 1, Cardi B. So when I seen this list, because somebody sent it to me, I text back, why the fuck is Young Miami at number 2? Then I had to think, the wording. There's no real criteria for being the hottest for real other than being viral or having a hit. A hit. That pretty much is it when it comes to hot. Yes, Spin That is everywhere. I understand. Spin That is the song of the summer. We have gone crazy over it. Everybody's like, yo, man, play that in the club. Yo, man, when I go outside, it's bleeding through people's cars. Can y'all give me 2 verses off that song? I'm waiting. All I want is somebody to give me a verse. Because when y'all be like, where all that scamming, that's the hook. Music 101, understand the difference between a verse and a hook. Everything that people are singing is the hook, not a verse. I have no idea what she's really rapping, what kind of bars she has on that song. For her to be over Monaleo, of all people, is a travesty of justice. And no, I'm not trying to pit women against each other. I just understand skill. Monaleo is killing Young Miami in the rap part of things. No, she's probably not the hottest out right now. No, she's not as viral as everybody else is. But Monaleo is rapping circles around Young Miami. And Sexy Red. I don't like these lists to give us clickbait or to make us rage out. We get this stuff from Billboard and Complex all the time, and they always seem to get it wrong, or they always make us feel like we got to be mad about some shit. I hate it because I fall for it every time. And I come to this platform and I talk about it every time. There's one more thing that I want to talk about before I move to the next thing. Tierra Whack has one of the best albums out right now. She is a fucking phenomenal rapper. And I would think that Billboard would at least make the list credible by just putting her on there, just sliding her in there, just a spot. Just sliding her in a spot somewhere. That's it. And just saying, hey, like, we respect the lyricist side of things, or we respect the people who actually got bars. She is rapping at a very high clip. And the fact that y'all don't even acknowledge this woman is sad to me. I really wish these lists would have more in mind of the whole spectrum when it comes to rapping, rappers, what they do, all of that stuff. Tierra Whack deserves, she deserves to be on a lot of lists. I was saying that when she dropped Worldwide Whack 2 years ago. All I'm saying is when you guys drop these lists, have a little bit of consideration for people who actually can rap, who are lyricists, who actually get down and do the real shit. Because if you haven't heard her new album, White Museum, you're missing something special. She has one of the best albums of 2026. And the least that Billboard could have done was just put her on the list. Just for namesake purposes only. Just to give her a little bit of visibility to push that new album. That's all I'm saying. I understand that you do this for clicks and likes and views and visits and all this other bullshit, but have the balls to say, this woman right here is really rapping. She deserves to be in the mix with the rest of these people. What do you guys think? Do you guys still read lists? Are you guys okay with the fact that we have some rappers out here who are getting on this list that don't necessarily know how to rap, or are you just done with lists altogether? However you feel, drop that comment down below and let me know what's going on. Before I get out of here, I do have a Cole's Corner. I wanted to speak on this video that's been going around the internet with Geneviews asking about Wale.
Is Wale blackballed?
No.
What the is going on with Wale in 2026, 2025? And he haven't won an award since like Bad. Is it bad that I never had? A long time ago is when it was.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with that. I know he was there at the awards. He was nominated for
Best Rap Album.
And I don't know. I forgot who won.
Clips
won for Best Rap Album. I don't think he's blackballed, no.
Something's going on because we got list dropping of
oh, you're saying there's a conspiracy?
I think there's a conspiracy against Wale that he don't know about.
Like he not in on
the joke. A lot of people give Wale flack for the way that he crash out on the timeline, but when you start really paying attention, they do be having them fucked up.
Wale has been sitting out here telling us for years, I mean like pre-pandemic, that the industry has blackballed him. They don't respect him. They do all kinds of bullshit to him. And a lot of people who are on platforms, instead of saying, yo, we get it, they just brush him off and be like, you're crazy. And I think sometimes it's a case of somebody being so skilled and so good at what they do that it's hard for us to believe that the industry don't accept them. But that's been Wale's case every time he has crashed out on the internet. And it just hasn't been on Twitter. It's him on interviews. He has consistently said, yo, the industry don't fuck with me. I don't know why. They always play these games with me.
Well, I see you put out there, you said you want a Grammy. You putting it in the atmosphere.
I want it. I want to be invited to the awards and them not have Sandra Bullock in front of me and completely ignore that I'm on the red carpet. And mind you, like I'm nervous. I'm like, it's the Grammys, bro. Like, and I'm right, and they go like they go, and I'm like, okay, it's not even she don't got no song out, but cool. She go, and then I go, and it's like, do we have any more? Yeah. Look. Well, okay, we're good. And it was over. And I was just like, damn, y'all really carried the shit out of me, like. And it also gave me perspective, like, oh, this is the rhythmic room. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. This is the urban.
This ain't the BET Awards.
Yeah, well, I didn't even get invited to the BET Awards. I mean,
why you care about that white person's award so much?
He didn't even get invited to BET.
Let me tell you something.
You don't need no validation.
Let me tell you something. If it can help me elevate things and do things, or make an impact the way I see fit, then by all means, I need it.
BET Awards should mean the same, though. It should be because that's our award.
I wasn't nominated for one of them Jones either. I wasn't even nominated for a hip hop award, and that made me feel away. But
Wale is always getting a raw deal from some type of label. He's always getting a bad situation from an award show. Things have been bad for him for a very long time, and nobody can seem to explain it. Now, it's real funny that Gina Views brought that list thing up because she is the prime example of people not paying attention. For a lot of people who don't know, because I feel like she's talking about the B-Dot list. B-Dot put him on the list last year. B-Dot has already given the man his flowers, and people haven't really paid attention. Now, I don't know if it's because they don't like B-Dot, or if they just don't pay attention to what social media or what media has been saying, or if they just don't give a fuck. But Wale has been given his flowers by B-Dot on the list. We have all talked about his album being a great album. Everything Is a Lot was one of my favorite albums of 2025. It made my top 10 list. When people start crying out for help, when people start putting their grievances out here to the atmosphere, to the ecosystem, why don't we want to pay attention to it? Why are we always just like, oh, man, that nigga just complaining, man. He being a baby. I tweeted one time, and I'm going to find the tweet and I'm going to post it on here. I tweeted one time. I said, we'll never have another artist like Wale because Wale checks all the boxes. He is a one of one. We will never get another version of him. And niggas thought I was crazy when I said that shit. But it's the truth. We have never given Wale his flowers. The man can rap. He can give you any kind of style of rap that you want him to. He celebrates black women, which we ask for on a regular basis. He checks all the boxes. The nigga is lyrical. He can actually tell stories. He can actually give you some gangster shit. He can do whatever you need him to do. He will do it. He's a all-purpose tool at the end of the day. And we just now in 2026 realizing that this nigga is not being respected. Get the fuck out of here. Where y'all been at? I love the fact that Gina Views brought this up because there's a bigger conversation around when rappers actually tell us what their grievances are and how we look at them as a talent or as a rapper. It's just, we just brush these niggas off because we feel like they got all the money, all the fame, and they got everything that they ever need. But if you go listen to Everything Is a Lot, you'll understand that that shit don't mean nothing when it comes to your mental health or when it comes to living life, or all of that shit is just bullshit at the end of the day. People want connection. And I've been to several Wale shows. I've been one of the advocates of Wale when he says people are not treating me correctly. So it's just another situation where we look at this person as larger than life, and then instead of us being able to relate to what he's going through because he's just a human being, we typically brush him off because he has a name, he's been nominated for awards, or he's had so many albums and so many great albums and a big catalog. Let's stop tuning out to people who are telling us what's been going on in their lives for over 10 years. Let's start really paying attention to these artists and making sure that we give them what they've been asking for. The attention to what's been going on, to start calling out these award shows, to start putting this man on the list. He's on the back end of his career now. We kind of too late. You tell me. That's all I got for you guys this week, man. Thank you for joining me. If you like what I do, because what I do is not very easy, pay me in a comment, pay me in a like, but you can always support me with a subscription. Grow my platform as big as the sun. I will catch you guys next week. Take care of yourself. I love you. Peace out.
She is kind of fucking with my money, but I meant everything I said, and I say it again.